Big ideas start with a spark. At Tassis, we use that spark to ignite the fire in ourselves and our kids. So with the trust we build and the knowledge we share, we can grow together and stand tall, creating opportunities to advance in business while setting an example for the next generation. Whether you are starting fresh in Portugal or expanding globally, we're here to support each other. This is more than a network. We are a community that sets the examples for the leaders of tomorrow. Join Tessie's Paris business community and share your knowledge and insights. Scan the QR for more information. See you there.
Joao, welcome.
Thank you.
Interesting topic, because I'm a German. We have sustainable houses, right?
Yes, I
Correct. So we're going to talk about this topic. But before we do so, tell the audience who you are and what you do. What's your
Background.
career?
Okay, good afternoon to everybody. I'm an architect. I'm Portuguese. I'm working in architecture for almost 30 years, more than 30 years. I went through all the 360 degrees work as an architect can do, as a pure architect, project manager, construction manager, bigger companies, smaller companies. So I go across all this process. So I have very good contact with construction company, construction process, clients, demanding clients, municipalities, so all this process. Very challenging. And I start making layers, introducing myself to my work, some additional concerns, especially sustainability and energy efficiency. Because of the results of the construction, because of the feedback of the clients. So I had that need to improve the projects in some way. So I also passed by the energy efficiency. I was not so happy about that. That's why I say behind the energy efficiency. And then I reached to this concept that is passive house that I'm working on in the last years, that adds completely different approach to the project. So I'm an architect. So passive house teach me to understand better the construction, to people, the surrounding. It's a bioclimatic process. We have to adapt the house to the environment, to the sun, to the conditions. And that's where I'm now, so where I'm working and what is my focus right now.
Can you explain to the audience what is a passive house and what other houses do exist in difference to that?
A passive house is a house that try to use the surrounding, the sun. So it focuses on trying to make a house efficient, not through heating systems and technology and machines, but trying to use the sun and trying to use the weather to be completely two main things that is different and two main things that are the concern for the passive house. They need to be comfort and they need to be healthy. So the concern is the persons that live on the house, and they have the house should adapt to the person, to the people that live inside of the house, and at the same time using the surrounding, the weather, the climate conditions that we have. So we try to push as much as possible all the fabric, what is the building construction elements, to try to avoid and reduce as minimum as possible the technical systems. So the house could be quite comfortable, at the same time easy maintenance, cheap, without disturbing equipment. So it's a process that focus on the construction elements. So I can tell you, this is, if you go to the internet, the 5 elements, a lot of insulation, the windows, these kind of things. But the main objective is to get a house that is comfortable and focus on the well-being of the users.
So a passive house would be a house normal built from EDP or a very small one, correct? So it would be
Yes.
self-sufficient.
Normally, including passive house has three levels. It's the passive house classic, the passive house plus, and premium. The classic normally it has a very low consumption of electricity, very low. I have several certified houses, and one of the things that is very good for me, very satisfactory, is that clients send me WhatsApps with the bills. So this month I only pay this, or look, I only use 3% of the air conditioning during 1 year. So that is one of the good things. Most of the clients understand these kind of things. They also, when they come to me, they already know this, want this, and they are focused also on this. This is good, the good part of this niche. So yes, the bills of electricity are very low. On the plus, you have more production in renewables than you have in consumption. So it's a classic, but you have more PV systems or other renewable system. And then you have the premium, where you have a plus over the production.
Which means the energy you sell to EDP or you sell into the system for other people to use.
Yes. Could sell, or for instance, if you have electric cars could consume a lot of energy. When we do the standard for the passive house, we never consider the consumption of electricity for electric car, of course. But if you have that plus or that premium, you can add that energy for the use of the house.
Okay.
Or the opposite. There is a lot of strategies concerning the renewable energy.
Okay. I mean, this is the real estate month at TASIS, and we have been talking about construction
Yes.
all the time. And many people mention that it's quite humid in Portuguese houses. It's very cold. You need to heat.
Yes.
So what you're talking about must be a huge difference to the current base of construction.
Use difference. That is the main difference. These houses are built in a way that you have old house at the same temperature. So you don't have the Siberian part of the house, or that normally I don't go to the kitchen because it's very cold. I don't go to that part of the house. The house is 100% at the same temperature. This is, I can explain you why we can manage to get that results, and it's completely out of any kind of mold of humidity. Why? Because we have a lot of insulation. Okay, first of all, so we concentrate all the energy. We produce energy. We have machines, computers that produce energy. So you have energy production naturally. So we use that energy. Then we are air tightness in the house. We can open windows. We can ventilate naturally. But in the peak of winter and the peak of summer, like when we are in our car, we keep the house, we keep the temperature, we keep the room comfort. So air tightness, and then we had a ventilation system that. Well, it's a little bit technical because it has a recovery system. So when you pick up the air from outside, inside of the house, and you expel the used air, you make a recovery of that air. So if you have 25 degrees in the winter inside of the house, or 24, 25 is too much, and outside is 0 degrees, so that air that is going inside of the house is going to recover the heat of the air that is going for exhausting. So the air will come not 0 degrees, but will come 18, 20 degrees. So
they're passing each other and energy is transferred, correct?
Yes. By this way, you keep the temperature, and at the same time, you ventilate and you keep the humidity of the house. Okay. So the house is completely comfortable. We monitorize most of these houses. I already has 2 houses certified, one classic, one plus, and we are doing other projects. Probably one during this week, next week will come. And we have all the measurements of the humidity, of the temperature. So this is not a theoretical thing, it's physical of materials. So yes, it works.
These houses exist, which you're talking about?
The houses exist.
Okay.
Exist in Portugal and works. And they call me and say, happy, look for the graphics. So it's one of the good things. For me, it's to get this feedback from the clients. It's always good.
What kind of material are these houses?
Normal materials.
Bricks?
Bricks, insulation. Now, depending of the concerns of sustainability that the client has. Some clients, they say, I don't want to use petroleum materials. I want to use cork or mineral wool. They are more sustainable. This depends, but you can use whatever material you need, you want to be used. So it's brick. You don't need to use specific materials. It's easier. The passive house has components that are certified by passive house. This is good because we test it. We know that they work. Okay. Otherwise, when I have to do the certification, if it's a normal material, I must talk to the manufacturer. I need this data. I need this data because the process is very, very exhaustive. I have to prove to Germany all the materials I'm using, what are the specifications. They are not special, but I need to know what they are. Sometimes the during construction, said, I have another different block. Okay, give me the specification. No, this is not the same block. So I need to check the specification. But it's normal material.
So yes. The Germans need to sign what you
The Germans need to sign.
Right. Yeah, happy for me. What about wood?
Well, in Germany, most of the houses are in wood, so we can use the wood. I never done a wooden house. The first passive house that I certify with the client, we try to use different approach. We try to go to wood. We try to go to light steel framing. Mm-hmm. We try to contact companies that do pre-construction or construction. But in the end, we used the traditional construction. It was cheaper, more accessible. We can get more workers to do that. Okay. But it's not. We can use wood, but. And there is a lot of manufacturers trying to sell wooden houses, but sometimes they skip some steps on the passive house process. So it's necessary to be to understand if they are following all the process. But it's a good solution for passive house. More expensive because natural, not because of the passive house, because of the construction methods.
Okay. Can you talk about the cost of such a passive house in comparison to a normal house?
Well, passive house has some figures about that. It's quite difficult. The first passive house that was certified that I have done, the client told me that probably the cost of the house was around 5 to 10% more than a traditional construction, but. This depends on a lot of things. This is not easy to say that the passive house is more expensive or less expensive. Let me tell you, for instance, windows are one of the most expensive components of a construction. And if you have big windows and big glazing areas, that will be expensive. How can we adjust if the passive house is more expensive? But in the different way, you are going to reduce a lot of systems. For instance, for a normal passive house, the ones that I've done, I only have a hot water system, and I have only one air conditioning unit, only one for all the house, because the needs of cooling or heating are so low that I only have to put one air conditioning in a strategic point of the house, because then the ventilation will make the distribution of all the heating or cooling for all the rest of the house. So I'm going to reduce a lot in systems and a lot in conditions. I heard I think in the morning about the heating pavement. I have a client that has heating pavement, but he's not switching on the heating pavement. He asked for the heating pavement for comfort, but he almost don't use the heating flooring. So if you think because putting more 5 centimeters of insulation, it's not expensive. But if you at the same time will not have a lot of heating machines and with the problem of the maintenance, with the problem of the if they are broken, you need to fix it. So I think if you follow all the Portuguese code of construction, it's the same price.
Okay. So
I think the traditional construction is cheaper because people jump on what they have to do.
So what you spend slightly more on the construction itself, excluding the windows, because that might be the same, you may save later for any kind of energy cost.
That's for sure. I can tell you, the bills are I can tell you by numbers that, for instance, a house, the 3 houses that are already being used that are certified. These houses are like, one is 220 square meters, the other one is around 200 square meters, the other one is, they have bills of electricity, including the swimming pool that doesn't count, between 80 to 100 euros per month, all the year. Okay, this one that is plus, the client told me the other day that he spent in December 35 euros in electricity. So they will, if we make, there is a lot of financial, they can do the ROI, but I don't like to go through that way, because what we can get from comfort and what we can get from health being, it's something that you don't pay with money.
Okay, right. How do you see the future of passive house building in Portugal?
Well, passive house in Spain has more than 300 houses certified. In Germany, there is a lot. In France, there is a lot. In Portugal, we have only 9 houses in
Total Portugal?
Yes, 3 are 10. 3 are mine. So something wrong. Okay. One of the good things that we have for the passive house that I think we should use is because we have a lot of solutions right now. We have the materials, we have the insulations, we have the ventilation systems. So we have everything to do a passive house. So it's only a question of try to do it. It's a question of doing it. Okay. I understand also that sometimes, okay, there is a lot of why don't we have more? People are a little bit scared of the process. The process is not easy, but it's not rocket science. It's physical of materials, so it's feasible. It needs to have a very, very good project. So you have to have a very good execution project. You have a very good control of the construction. I do sometimes some consultancy for other projects, other architects. Not so much, because I need to understand if the client really wants, how the construction process is going to be done, how is the project, because sometimes I look for the process, I have to make so many changes, putting some sun protections, or that probably the architect is not going to like to do that. I cannot change the orientation of the house, so I cannot change. So I need to check if there is any conditions to do a good work and to be constructive for the process.
What is the future of passive house in Portugal?
We are working on that. I'm working on that. I came here to do that. I write a lot of things in LinkedIn. I go to a lot of conferences, try to push the system. I think Portugal needs that, because the construction is very bad. It's so easy because with the so good climate that we have, it's easier to do a passive house than in Germany. But then people say, okay, this is a German concept, it's for cold countries. No, Australia, they are doing a lot of passive house. In New Zealand, they are doing a lot of passive house. So it's the same concept for hot countries, it's the same for cold countries. And with this weather, we could have so much. Let's see, I'm pushing. I hope, including construction companies, try to educate in the process of construction. This is quite important. And you see.
So for people interested in maybe building a house, doing something new, they should go to you very early, so the house has the right direction and the right setup.
Yes,
and
because it's a bioclimatic process.
Okay.
So passive house likes south orientation. Okay. Because I need to have solar gains in the winter, like a day like today. Mm-hmm. This is a fantastic day for a passive house. I think my clients will have zero consumption. And then I have to protect the house in the summer. So the summer is short, but it's some days they are strong. So I need to work on that process, not only in the architectural project, but also in optimizing the orientation, everything of the client. So it's better to start from scratch, to begin early.
Okay. So you're on a mission somehow. So who would you like from this audience, quite a strong audience, Tas's parents?
Yes.
Who would you like to talk to you, to help you, or maybe build the house with you?
You know, I have. It sounds like I have a dream, no? I have.
Dreams are fine.
Spain has social housing, passive house social housing.
Okay.
That was one of the things that I would like to do. Okay, to get put all the resources in doing very good houses. This is something that I would like to do. To try to see if someone would like to go in that direction, because it's not easy. I think we are launching a lot of projects for trying to improve the residential crisis that we have. I see a lot of projects with so many machines, so I don't know how that is social housing. I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, I think we could do it easier.
Okay. So if somebody is here to support that kind of idea and dream and project, should talk to you, right?
Yes, good talk.
And also whoever wants to build a house in a passive manner.
Yes, yes. Also, if they are dealing, they want to have a comfortable house. Yes.
Nice. Sounds good. Thank you, Joao.
Thank you all.